The information shared on this program is for general informational purposes only. It is not intended as legal, tax, investment, or other professional advice, nor as a recommendation of any specific investment product or financial instrument. Always consult your financial advisor, attorney, or accountant regarding your own situation. All client reviews or spotlight segments are unpaid testimonials from current clients of Tony Walker Financial. Individual experiences will vary, are not representative of all clients, and are not a guarantee of future results or success.
Welcome to the only show in the country dedicated to helping savers worry less about money. The Worry-Free Retirement with your host, six-time author and fiduciary, Tony Walker.
As we record this show in May of 2026, many of you are probably feeling very pessimistic about the future. Whether it's the current conflict in the Middle East, whether it's inflation, high gas prices, sometimes people come to me and they're looking for one thing, and that is not necessarily more money, it's just more hope. So how do we at Tony Walker provide hope for our clients in the future? Well, we're going to talk about that on today's show. So if that's you right now, if you're nervous about the future, the uncertainty of the future is robbing you of any joy in enjoying this money now, I'm about to give you some hope.
You gotta have hope. Mustn't sit around and mope. Nothing's half as bad as it may appear. Wait till next year and hope.
Here's a Tony Walker Financial 5-star review that comes from Scott Mumaw. I am so glad I did my homework before I retired and I found my way to Tony Walker. He provided us with an easy to understand and follow retirement plan. His staff provides the ultimate in customer support. The company is the real deal. To read this full review and more 5-star reviews like it, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Let me ask you a question. How hopeful, that's H-O-P-E-F-U-L, how hopeful are you about your future? Or you might even use the word optimistic. And that could be political, the world, the economy, the country, the state, your finances. But in general, if you had to guess, as we record this show in April of 2026, do you think people are more optimistic and hopeful about the future or possibly less? Well, according to a Gallup poll, this was done on February 10th, 2026, most people are feeling less hopeful. In fact, it's declined. The percentage of U.S. adults who anticipate high-quality lives in 5 years declined to 59% in 2025, and that is the lowest level since they began measuring it nearly 2 decades ago. And I see this in my business a lot. As a retirement planning specialist, the most rewarding clients for me are those prospects who've heard about, maybe that's you right now, you're listening to this radio show or whatever, and you really are wondering if you can retire. Or maybe you have retired and the people you're working for are not making it very hopeful. In other words, you're starting to have second thoughts that this whole retirement thing over time ain't going to work. So that's what people come to me for. They're basically looking for hope. And my job is to get a good feel of what they want in retirement. In other words, everybody's got different hopes and dreams. And, what is it you would say would be your worry-free retirement? And then my job is to put my vast amount of experience to work to assess what they've got and try to help them pull it off. So in a nutshell, really what my job entails is giving people hope. And what they want to walk out of here feeling like is hope that they are making the right decision to retire. Or let's say some people get laid off or they're burned out and they haven't even thought about retirement until all of a sudden and they come to somebody like me and that's what they're really hoping, that I can tell them, Tony, Tony, can I retire now? And what they're hoping I say is absolutely. In fact, it's kind of funny. When I meet someone for the first time and they're working, I'll say, well, tell me when you want to retire. And sometimes they'll kid and go, now. So I know what you're thinking out there. So what happens and then how do we put that together? Well, the reason we give people hope is not necessarily just because of me and my experience, but because of our establishment here at Tony Walker Financial. Let me explain how we've put in place the right people to work with you long term, because here's the problem. Even if you find an advisor you like now, and let's say that advisor does give you hope, there's a good possibility throughout your retirement that advisor is no longer going to be there. In fact, statistics tell us many advisors are retiring. Your advisor could pass away. He or she could change firms, become disabled, get out of the business. One of the funniest things I've heard recently is a gentleman called me. His advisor had retired, turned him over to the new advisor at the firm. The guy doesn't like him. He's not taking care of him. He won't return his call. So this prospective client who contacted me called his old advisor who was retired, told him of the problem. And this is cool. The old advisor who retired said, look, Jim, I don't know what to tell you. If it were me, I would reach out to this guy, Tony Walker Financial. It seems like they know what they're doing. So I took that as a compliment, and he did. So why? Why do we have this reputation of being experts in the field of retirement planning? It's about what I'm going to explain to you right now, because it's not just about Tony Walker. It's about the staff, the culture, what we do. And in fact, I'm excited to say that TJ Reagan, who's also tax certified at Tony Walker Financial, is now officially registered as an investment advisor. So what does that mean? Well, technically, besides TJ, who is now considered a fiduciary, besides me, who is a fiduciary, we also have 3 other trained and highly educated and experienced fiduciaries. We have Heather Hughes. She's the head fiduciary in Bowling Green, been with me 20 years, actually would run the business if something happened to Tony. We have my favorite son-in-law, Trey, who's a fiduciary in the Louisville office, been with me almost 10 years. And then we have Wes Walker, my nephew. He's a fiduciary. He's also CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst. He's in the Louisville office. Now we have TJ. Now, what's interesting is they're not really advisors that are assigned to clients. We have nearly 4,000 clients at Tony Walker Financial. What we do is totally different from the rest of the financial world. We don't assign advisors to people. What we do is the fiduciaries are there to help our clients when they call in with questions. That's why we have the income software. That's why we have the other 16 staff members that are there to service what we sell. So our organization is set up not just to help you now. I mean, anybody can throw you in a bunch of products and move on. Our organization is set up to monitor and follow that proprietary game plan that I'm going to orchestrate and set up for you. See the beauty of this. So whether your financial situation changes, maybe a spouse passes, anything could happen out there. But even if we have changes within Tony Walker Financial, whether I can't do this anymore or something happens, everybody else is there ready to step in and help, because, again, it's not about Tony Walker. It's about you and the proprietary game plan we're going to set up. So that's where we give people hope. Hope that we're here for today and hope that we will be here long into retirement. And maybe that's you right now. Maybe you've really never thought about this. You're sitting there with an advisor that's been kind of handling your money, and yeah, they've done okay, but you don't have a game plan. You don't understand what's going to happen in retirement. You don't have anything to deal with the changes that will come your way. Why don't you consider a second opinion from someone who's been doing this longer than most? I've met in person with over 20,000 savers. I've orchestrated over 5,000 written game plans. I have a staff of 20 that's here to help you worry less about money. Why don't we just talk by phone? It's simple to do and easy to do. It's called the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call to talk to me, Tony Walker, by phone, to see if your situation merits us getting together in person, which I'll do that. I'll meet with you in person after this phone call if I think it can help you. Just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com, click on that Let's Get Started, or you can call us anytime at 877-499-9255. Wondering how much money you'll need for retirement? Well, that's where we can help at Tony Walker Financial. As retirement planning experts, we're a one-stop shop for savers who are looking to retire worry-free. So if you don't have a proprietary game plan in your possession, if you're not sure who to trust with your money, consult us at Tony Walker Financial and set up that free phone call with me, Tony Walker, by logging on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call us anytime at 877-499-9255.
Looking for retirement guidance from a local team you can trust? Subscribe to the Tony Walker Financial YouTube channel for fresh weekly videos focused on the topics that matter most to savers and retirees. Once subscribed, click the bell so you're notified whenever new videos are uploaded. Then head to TonyWalkerFinancial.com to submit your own questions to Tony or schedule your free 10-minute fiduciary phone call with Tony himself. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com, your local trusted resource for retirement planning.
Welcome back to the Worry-Free Retirement. And I don't know if this is you folks. For those of you riding down the road, see if this sounds familiar. You go to a bank or a financial firm and you've had a great relationship with that bank or financial firm, and then you go in there and the person you used to deal with is no longer there. Sometimes there's no explanation. Sometimes you get passed off to somebody else that's not the same personality. In the financial advisory world, sometimes people retire, they die, they become disabled, things happen. But not so at Tony Walker Financial, because we want to explain something about our process here, and that comes to us from Gina Tutwiler, who is actually not only our media buyer of all the things that you see out there on TV and radio, but what I love about Gina is she's the person that is going to greet you when you show up at our Louisville offices at 8303 Shelbyville Road, and she is here to talk about the client experience. So, Gina, first of all, thank you so much for all you do. How many years have you been greeting clients now? How long have you been
12.
with them? So think about that, folks. You've got, especially those of you who've been clients 12 years, you know Gina, because not only does she arrange all of our client events, but you're the one that's greeting everybody. Why is that so important, and why am I such a stickler? I'm even eavesdropping on you still some of these days, but
right.
Why is that? Why am I so particular about that initial greeting, especially for somebody that doesn't know anything about us and they're here for that first appointment?
Well, I think it means so much to everybody to have a personal experience. We have this building here on Shelbyville Road that we did, and it's like a home. We wanted everybody to feel like a family rather than a number walking through the door. So from the whole atmosphere when we first walk in, they're surprised they get to still meet with you. Some of them, it's relaxed atmosphere. Sit down, have a cup of coffee, relax. There's a fireplace in your office. It's just homey, not stuffy, and people are already intimidated with their finances. We try and make them feel like home and make them feel at ease with things from the get-go.
And all the way down to the cardboard cutout of me in the lobby.
Well, that scares some people.
I was kidding a gentleman the other day, and he said, "How come you got that in there?" And I said, "Well, if any potential client goes over there and starts talking to the cardboard cutout, we know that there's some issues we need to deal with." But no, in all seriousness, though, I appreciate you so much greeting people and making them feel at home. Go over that. You made a comment earlier. We tell people when we set up the appointment, Shanna does all my appointments, you're going to be meeting with Tony. And then a lot of times you'll say, "Well, Tony will be right with you." What is sometimes their response?
We really get to meet with Tony, the Tony Walker. And I'm like, yeah, he's right in there. He'll be with you in just a few. And they're like, I think just because people are pushed through the system at so many other places. And like you said, people change every other month and they get a different advisor or somebody different. And we have a family here, and it's just a consistent atmosphere that makes people feel at home. And they not only get to meet with you, they get to meet with everybody else. And so it makes them feel like they're not just one and done, and they get to meet Trey and Wes and everybody and talk to people throughout the Bowling Green office. You're calling people throughout appointments and stuff. So I think they get a better feel of the whole mix, not just one person.
Well, let's speak to that in kind of our closing minute here. I want to talk about that because you I call it Command Central. Your desk where it's located, but you see people going through the office, going in the conference room. Speak to how professional the rest of the staff is after I've met with them and maybe taken them down the hall to Trey, or they're coming in to sign paperwork, and their response to the staff's work.
Oh, they love it. And they love the special handling from Craig doing a rollover call with them to Juanita or somebody helping them with their Charles Schwab paperwork. They meet with Trey. They're buttoning up all the stuff that you talk to them about, and it just makes them feel more at ease. They understand it more. Everybody else has more time than you, maybe to slow down and explain it again, and somebody catches a little bit more. But they walk out of here laughing and happy, or they come back here, loving my retirement. So that's what it's all about for me. I love seeing everybody so happy and enjoying it.
Well, and I appreciate the way you go with the flow in closing. It made me think about that. We had a guy come in, this was several weeks ago, and he walked out and he said, "I apologize." He had just come off work. He'd been on a construction job. Mud was everywhere. You were just smiling and said, "Don't worry about it." Here you came after you left. Here you came with the little Swiffer thing. I thought Gina just gets after it. She doesn't care. I mean, we were going to help people that come as you are. That's
right.
What we're here. We're here to serve people. Well, Gina, speaking of serving people, thank you for all you do, for not only helping with the staff here and keeping the office organized, but greeting all those clients that come through our front doors.
I enjoy it. Look forward to doing it more.
The Tony Walker Financial Client Spotlight shines brightly on Warren and Betty Henning. Let's learn more about their worry-free retirement journey.
We're Warren and Betty Henning. I was born and grew up in San Antonio, Texas. We currently live in Kentucky, in Henry County. There's no real town around. So
And to be truthful with you, from my point of view, the way I lived, I didn't think I was going to live long enough to retire. So there wasn't a lot of thought put into it until around our mid-50s. And I happened to be in the house one day watching TV on a Saturday, and was flipping channels, and Tony was on. And I started listening to him, and whatever he started telling about his concepts, and he started hitting the biblical approach to savings and retirement. That's whenever I said, this is the guy I want to sit down and talk to. And I'll never forget the first meeting with Tony. He asked me one of those questions, why are you here? And it was, I want to know if I'm okay or not. Will I have enough money in retirement? And that's one of the things that he's really helped us with.
because as we get older, so many people say, you're getting older, you need to slow down, I'm going, no.
Yeah.
Not my plan, not my style.
For us, it hasn't been stopping. It's just been changing.
Refocusing.
Yeah. When I knew I was going to retire, I got talking to some of the guys, and they got telling me about people making maple syrup. And the process with it, and just the whole thing started intriguing me. This year we got into maple syrup, making our own maple syrup, and we just love it. It's 220 acres, 100 of it pastures, 120 of it woods, and it's a beautiful lifestyle.
I think as retirement came around, it gave me more time to think about what I really enjoyed doing. So it's, like I said, not a one-size-fits-all, but who are you and what do you enjoy doing, and find where you can plug in.
Looking for an advisor you can trust? Schedule your free phone call with Tony at TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call 1-877-499-9255.
All right, we're on the road. I am Tony Walker, and just making a random call to my favorite son-in-law in the Louisville office, Mr. Trey Juergens, fellow fiduciary there, who takes care of a lot of the new business when people decide to move forward with Tony Walker Financial. A lot of times they'll meet with me, and when they give us the go-ahead, I'll run them down the hall, as we like to say to Trey. So good morning, Trey.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I hope we got a good connection here. We are trying some new experimentation on this, but it's pretty cool technology that I can come up with a topic I want to talk about. And this topic deals with, let's see, today is April 20th, 2026. We have a new, I'll just call it computer program that is able to download daily our Charles Schwab accounts, which incidentally, did you realize we have 3,000 accounts now with Charles Schwab?
I did. That is a lot of accounts.
But anyway, I noticed on there we hit a milestone. Most people just think all we do is annuities, which is nothing further from the truth. We do a lot of annuities, obviously, but I noticed we just hit for the first time kind of a benchmark. I don't know if you noticed this on our database, that we just passed $400 million with Charles Schwab.
I did see that. I think it happened here just this past Friday.
So speak to that briefly, Trey. Where the Charles Schwab fits in. Why are so many accounts getting open with Schwab? Again, why the annuities don't have anything to do with Schwab. So what is the purpose of those Charles Schwab accounts for all of our clients?
Yeah, well, obviously, Schwab being the custodian that we use, we are independent. We're not employed by Schwab, but it gives our clients and gives us as planners a lot of flexibility in what we're able to do for clients. As we always kind of say, the Schwab accounts we use to flow through for transferring money into annuities. Of course, the Schwab accounts, we send funds directly out to our clients. Try as we might, we always try to, of course, grow the assets under management and help more and more savers. But we send a lot more money to our clients than I feel like the financial world typically does. and we send a lot of money out to annuities for the plans that we kind of set forth for the clients. So as much as that assets under management has grown, it's been great to see. Unfortunately, we've never really set goals for that to be the growth we see. We want to help more and more savers. Of course, that's going to be kind of a byproduct of doing it.
And I think, again, a lot of people, we don't do this all the time. Most people that come here, we generally squeeze in annuities based on how much interest they're looking for or mailbox money. But we just had a elderly gentleman and his wife come in, apparently watched the TV show for years, was aware of us, and I think even had a neighbor that worked with us. But in their case, they just wanted to keep it liquid. They were okay with some risk. We just opened an account with Schwab immediately and moved a couple $100,000 over there. So while we, obviously offer annuities, but someone that comes to us doesn't have to even do annuities, do they?
No, and that is really kind of the funny thing is everybody probably has heard you referred to as the annuity king. And of course, we know those products very well and lay those into a lot of the game plans we put together for clients. But we do have several clients that are advisory only, and that just means they only have Schwab accounts. They might have an IRA from a 401k rollover. They may have some non-qualified funds that they wanted to invest. So we do a lot more than just annuities.
So you've worked 30 or 40 years slaving away at work so you can save away money into your 401k, and now you arrive at the biggest financial decision you're ever going to make, where to invest your 401k plan. Think about it. For all these years, you've had a steady paycheck, compliments from your employer for all of your hard work that you dedicated to them. But now, all of a sudden, you've got to figure out how to replace that paycheck with the money you've been saving. No wonder you're worried about what to do and who to trust with that money, which is why we at Tony Walker Financial are providing a brand new free service called the 10-Minute Fiduciary Phone Call. And here's how simple it is to learn more about our services and our 401k rollover process. First, just log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Once there, click on the Let's Get Started button. You'll be taken to a page. Confidentially, you can fill out your information on the screen and then click below the best way for us to speak together. It could either be myself or one of our other trained fiduciaries. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Before you make a rash decision and blindly turn your money over to a complete stranger to invest, consider a name and a firm you can trust, Tony Walker Financial. And, oh, by the way, if you like, you can give us a call to speak to us at any time by phone by simply calling 877-499-9255.
This week, it's time to get set free as Tony takes us into Chapter 5 of Live Well, Die Broke, Letting Go of the Guilt Trip Gospel for Good.
Well, as we continue our journey on taking a closer look at each chapter of Live Well, Die Broke, we're now in Chapter 5, and here it is, Letting Go of the Guilt Trip Gospel for Good. And I kind of juxtaposed two different folks who were very important in my life. First, my father, and then also my father-in-law. Now, what's interesting about these two dear gentlemen is they were actually totally opposites when it came to money. In fact, my dad, who was in the mental health business all of his life and a musician, not to say that musicians and mental health professionals are not good with money, but basically my dad was not. In fact, growing up as a kid in Lexington, most of the arguments I used to hear between my mom and dad were over his lack of ability to keep track of the checkbook. So it came as a surprise to me when roughly at the age of 50, Dad comes barreling through the door, bragging about how some guy helped him set up, I don't even know if he knew what he was doing, a 403B at work, which Dad quickly began, much to his credit. But I got to thinking about that as I've learned more about this business. It wasn't even until age 50 that he even thought he needed to save for retirement. Now, in the meantime, in 1984, that would put me at age 24, I was introduced to the financial world by Mr. Bill Moore, my father-in-law, who owned an insurance company in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now, again, not being critical of my father, but Mr. Moore was the first person I'd been around for extended periods of time that actually understood money. In fact, he is what I would classify as an investor. He owned a business. He had a condominium in Fort Myers. He had a condominium later on in Okaloosa Island down there on Fort Walton Beach. He understood stocks. He understood annuities. He was a thinker. He continually explored things and looked at different stocks and taxes. He was a very brilliant financial mind, and he had planned well for the future. So I guess you're saying, Tony, well, what's the point of this chapter? Well, sometimes, folks, you have to understand that we are all wired differently. Mr. Moore was wired as an investor. My dad was wired as a saver. My dad, the only problem with my dad was it was a shame that he didn't find somebody at a younger age to kind of help him understand the basic ropes with money and just start a plan. And that might be you right now. Maybe you are 50 or 55 and you feel like you haven't even really gotten under your belt some sort of plan. Let me just share this with you. Just like my dad, it's never too late to start a plan. Don't let people put you on what I call the guilt trip gospel. Don't look back at the past and say, what should I have done and what could I have done? It's never too late to start a plan. Now, if you are somebody that's an investor, but you're getting to that point in life where maybe you're thinking, you know what, I know I've handled a lot of money and I've got $1 million or a cajillion dollars in savings, but I don't want to keep doing this on my own. I want to enjoy retirement and I want to find an advisor who can help me enjoy this money. That's the second part of the guilt trip gospel. See, your problem is you're afraid to spend it, and then the financial world doesn't want you to spend what you've saved because then they get less fees on your money. So don't let them put you on the guilt trip gospel. So whether you're working towards saving or you got a bunch of money but you're looking for somebody you can trust to use and enjoy it, my suggestion is talk to Tony Walker Financial. Don't let people put you on the guilt trip gospel. Sit down with me, get a game plan, and let's see if we can help you enjoy more of your money before it's too late.
To learn more about Live Well, Die Broke, visit TonyWalkerFinancial.com. While there, you can listen to the audiobook version absolutely free. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Wondering how much money you'll need to retire? Probably a lot less than you think. I'm retirement specialist Tony Walker, and I've helped thousands of savers determine when to retire and how much money they'll need in retirement, and I can help you too. To meet in person at no cost or obligation, let me invite you to log on right now to TonyWalkerFinancial.com or call the toll-free number at 877-499-9255.
Are you retired or retiring soon? Do you have a 401k, IRA, 403b, thrift savings account, or lump sum pension that you'd like to move to safer territory? Did you know that all the money you see on your 401k statement isn't really yours? Depending on your overall taxable income, the government has essentially a lien on your 401k that can tax as much as 40% of your money when you go to take it out. Tony Walker calls this the 401k tax tumor. For over 40 years, retirement specialist Tony Walker has helped thousands of savers worry less about money by creating game plans to deal with your tax tumor. Get control of your retirement by controlling the taxes owed on it. Schedule a free meeting to see if you can reduce your tax tumor and provide a guaranteed income you can never outlive. To get started, simply log on to TonyWalkerFinancial.com. That's TonyWalkerFinancial.com.
Must sit around and moan. Just as half as bad as it may appear. Wait till next year and hope.
Folks, here's how I would summarize today's conversation with you. If you're looking for hope, don't just sit there and do nothing. You know, the definition of hope involves a longing for something, an expectation, having a goal in mind, a mindset. And that's where we help at Tony Walker Financial. With our wonderful staff, our trained salaried fiduciaries, and our proprietary game plan, I can assure you we will give you hope in the future. So again, don't just sit there. Let's take action. We call it the free 10-minute fiduciary phone call where you and I will talk by phone. And if I think I can help you, I'm going to meet with you in person. That's right, the owner of the company, to give you that hope you're looking for. So take advantage of this free offer. Log on right now, TonyWalkerFinancial.com. Click on that Let's Get Started button to arrange this free phone call or call us anytime. That number, 877-499-9255. Well, that's all the time we have this week. We look forward to talking to you next week on the Worry-Free Retirement. But between now and then, if all else fails, you be worry-free and you make it a good one.